So it's time to make over this dresser. It's a Dixie vintage dresser, and I got it on the Nextdoor app. It needs a little bit of work, so I'm going to get going on that. The first thing I always do is remove the hardware from the dresser, and as you can see, it's pretty grungy looking. I'll show you a close-up. There it is. Yeah, it needs a little bit of cleaning. So I'm going to start by cleaning the dresser with some simple green. Spray it on there, and then you're going to spray some water on after and wipe it off. And now it's time to get to some repairs. So I'm going to use a little Gorilla Glue on some of the veneer that's peeled away. I didn't have any wood glue, so I decided to just use Gorilla Glue instead. And here I am just applying it to the little piece, and I'm going to hold it tightly and put some clamps on it actually to give it a good grip so it dries nicely. Now it's time to use the wood filler. This piece had a lot of scratches, little divots and stuff on the top and on the sides, so I got a little wood filler happy and started filling a lot of areas on the top of this dresser. Okay, so for these larger areas, I'm going to use something different to fix it. I'm going to use this Quick Wood, which is an epoxy type filler. And basically you just tear a little piece off, rub it in your hands to mix it up, and then apply it where you need it. And there's my son helping me. What a good little helper. Oh, he's gone already. That was short-lived. So I'm just going to apply it to those areas, and once it dries, I can sand it down. And now it's time to sand down all those areas that I applied the wood filler to and the epoxy. So that's what I'm doing here. And I used a 220 grit sandpaper just to sand the top and the sides and the epoxy, where the epoxy was. Now that all the repairs are done, it's time to get creative. So I found this stencil on Amazon and I really thought it was cool. And I used this DryDex spackling to apply on top of the stencil. It's going to create a raised effect. And I'm going to apply it over the whole thing. And then I'm going to peel off the stencil when I'm done and let it dry. This DryDex, when you put it on, it goes on pink and then it actually dries white. So then you know it's dry. So it's perfect. After I let the stencil dry, I applied Dixie Belle Slick Stick to the piece. This piece was pretty shiny, so I wanted to make sure that the paint would adhere to the piece and that I would have no issues. So that's why I used the Slick Stick. And then I also used this Waverly chalk paint in Crimson. This is going to be my base coat for the piece. I am going to use, on top of this, I'm going to use about 4 different metallic paints by Modern Masters. And I'm going to attempt to blend the metallic paints. This will be my first time doing it, so I'm going to show you how I did that. And here they are. That's 3 of the colors that I used. So the first color is a copper tone, and I'm going to apply it to the bottom. So what you do with the metallic paints is you don't actually wet the paint on the dresser. You only wet your brush that you're using, because if you wet the paint on the dresser, it's not going to blend smoothly. So you just want to make sure your brush is wet. So here I am applying the copper. Sorry, I had to adjust the camera there so we can get closer. I'm going to do the copper on the bottom. And you want to do smooth strokes. Try not to go over and over the strokes you've already made, which I'm kind of doing here, but I was just fixing some areas. If you do even strokes across, it'll make the paint even, and it'll make it not look, you'll have less brush strokes, if that makes sense. So there I am applying the water to the brush and then stroking it across there. And then after this color, I'm going to use an orange color in the middle drawer there. I'm kind of going to blend it. I want it to look like the sunset, so that's what I'm going for here. So here's the orange. And I sprayed the paintbrush before I dipped it, and there I am applying it. Okay, so now it's time for the gold color. I believe I used Olympic gold. And here I am applying it to the top drawer. So you just want to, like I said, wet your brush first before you put it in the paint, and then just start painting and try and make your strokes as even as possible. Try not to go over back and forth too much. It kind of looks like I'm doing that in this picture, but especially over the stencil, I had to make sure the paint got in the little crevices. But try to do just long, even strokes across the piece. It'll make the paint look a lot flatter and smoother. Okay, so after I used those 3 colors, this is what it looked like. And now I'm gonna add some pink to it. I'll link the paints in the comments of this so you can see actually which paint colors I used. But here I am applying the pink. I actually decided to apply the pink over the whole dresser. And you could still see the yellow and gold and copper undertones. So it was pretty cool to see the final result, because you could see those coming through. So I really liked how the pink laid on top of those colors. I like the appearance of that. Okay, so here it is after I finished with the pink. I actually added a little bit more gold, as you can see, around the lion's head and then the edges of the dresser. Now moving on to the flower molds. I made flower molds to add to the piece. There is a tutorial. I have a video on that, how to make the flower molds. But here I am just painting them. I did the base coat in the crimson, and then I painted them in the metallic paints, and then I added these metallic pastes to them. I used purple, green, blue, and 24 karat gold metallic paste, and I'm gonna just apply that to the flowers and give them a little bit of shine. Okay, final result. There they are, all painted in the metallic colors. And here I am applying them to the piece. Now, I used my Gorilla hot glue gun to do this. It works really well. Just apply the hot glue to the back of the flowers and the leaves and stick them on there. And just press them down, make sure they're on there good. And that's it. Time to paint the lion. I painted half of it in the 24 karat gold metallic paste that you saw earlier, and then the other half I used the green, blue, purple metallic paste. And then I went over the 24 karat gold metallic paste with the colors, so I made it more uniform with all the colors. Instead of leaving the lion's head half gold, I decided to paint it all with colors, and I love the way it looks. Now, even more that I'm doing to this piece is the stars stencil here. So I bought a star stencil off Amazon, and I used the 24 karat gold metallic paste to individually paint over each star on the stencil. And I did this across the entire front of the dresser and the sides. I did not do it on the top. Okay, stars are done. There's the front, kind of a side angle, and there's the actual side. For the hardware, I did the Barkeeper's Friend again. So boil the hardware for 5 minutes and then apply Barkeeper's Friend and scrub it. However, it didn't get clean enough, so I needed to use the metallic paint, or the metallic spray paint, to spray paint the hardware. And here is the finished product. I had so much fun doing this piece. I used a lot of new techniques that I've never done before. I've never stenciled before or used stencils, so that was the first time I've done that. I've never done a raised stencil, so that was fun. And I've never used metallic paint, but I actually really like the way the metallic paint goes on, and I would recommend using it, and I would actually do it again for another piece. I think it's beautiful the way it kind of shows different colors and different lights. So I entered this piece into the Makers Challenge. I did not win, however, I am very proud of what I did and what I accomplished, and I learned so much doing it. So anyways, on to the next piece. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be, so stay tuned. But if you like what you see, please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. And I really appreciate you watching. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.